Hey. Movie, movie. Yo, hi, what a whipsaw. Um, Back again with another video. This is an update. Uh, I'm definitely not bearing any good news at all from this whipsaw that we saw today. Uh, no, this was definitely a killer move. But yo, we were just on the wrong side of it. Here is what I'm bringing forth. So on one video that I posted, I had an analysis that went something like, let me just start on explaining something, or let me start adjusting. So I had moved this trend line here, trend line resistance, to this point, right? Thought it was a cool thing to do, but that was one wrong move entirely. Why am I saying that? I'm saying that because immediately after doing that, look where the market rejected, right around this zone. I mean this trending resistance. Of course, it went out as always. We can take it from here, from these touches here, this upside movement, this entire breakout, in this piece here. So why wouldn't it do something like that here? Just explaining the fact that this was an exaggerated breakout and an aggressive push to the downside. Normally it happens because of a lot of people are already on the wrong side. I have a theory that the market doesn't go up because of there are enough buyers. And even if it ever does, it's only for a short while just to get people trapped on the wrong side before there is a reversal. Trust me, this was one of the largest transfer of wealth in history. But again, I was part of this as well, and I was caught on the wrong side. A couple of things, a number of things that were key, that are key highlight to what I'm gonna be touching on. The first one being this adjustment, incorrect adjustment of this trend. Remember, I put it here. Had I left it right where it was, I would have gotten a clear picture as to what was happening here. Remember, at the break of this previous high, at the break of this previous lower high, what happened was that the market continued to give us a further push to the upside. I do bet that there are people who locked in their profits. The unfortunate part, one thing I'm still struggling to come to peace with, is that a lot of us got affected by this thing that I'm gonna type here. This thing is the devil. Slippage. Slippage is the devil. So what slippage does is that on all of your entries, perhaps new orders and all of that, all that concerns your positions, you have the market being too volatile to have you executed at the price you're looking to getting to the market at, right? So what happens is that you are filled in at a different position, higher or lower, depending on where the price is moving, right? Not at the time you're expecting to be filled in, but when the market feels basically that it will fill you in, which a lot of times is not to your favor. It might be to your favor in some instances, but a lot of times not to your favor, right? So what happens is that it affects both your orders and your stop loss levels. So there's two sides to a coin. to this coin, which myself actually found out today. I knew slippage what slippage was, but the this side of it that concerns that is to do with the stop losses as well being affected. I was not so aware of it. So in short, what I'm saying is that slippage affects your orders, slippage affects your SL stop loss levels, right? So the price at which you are supposed to be kicked out has been moved to a different price. How? I don't know. So it's a what you call this? It's a disadvantage because now if you don't have a stop loss to rely on in such cases, you are forced basically to liquidate positions before any news, which I was supposed to have done had I known that my stop loss would not be effective, you know. So in it not being effective, so basically what had happened was that profit was running good, profit was running well and everything. I was up by around $2,100 floating. Then I decided to secure my profit. It's not that I didn't know about news. Someone else might say, nah, it's probably that you were not aware of news. I knew the news were coming. That is why I decided to lock in my profits. So what happened was that during the news, the slippage did me bad. I was supposed to have been kicked out. So because I didn't want to participate in any news, trade any fundamentals, I was willing to remember that I trade using a trading plan, right? So a trading plan basically was saying that I should not close positions or liquidate, mainly because of I had not reached my profit potential. But I should, and I should always protect my positions, which I did. The unfortunate part was that slippage got the best of me. Not great, not nothing. Someone else, of course, might argue otherwise that you should have just liquidated, which means that I'm forced to change my trading plan. I'm forced to make a number of adjustments, you know. So that was the key highlight for today that during news, I have to liquidate my positions. So it means that I'm going to have to liquidate positions even when they have not reached the full potential, even when they are in losses and they have a potential to recover. Remember that it's not always where you open positions and you're immediately going into profit, right? Might float, jump into profits, out of profit, blues and reds, blues and reds, blues and reds. At some point, you might hold, well, not so significant amount of loss, but just moderate amount of loss before going to profit. Now I'm forced to liquidate. It's just the unfortunate part of it. There are servers I guess they're not so quick. They're not so reactive to this kind of situations. You know, if you can't trust the stop loss, you are forced to liquidate. But depends again that um you are liquidating under what conditions. Sometimes you are liquidating where you should not be liquidating. You're liquidating a loss that had a potential to go into profit. Not that it hit your stop loss or anything, or it went the other way, basically invalidating you. You are still playing around, playing around, playing around before going to profit. You are forced to liquidate. Very, 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 very unfair. Can't cry about it though. I do hope that I will find a way around it. I always find my way around these things. Bit by bit, I'm getting to uh, these anomalies that happen. This is the second time I'm affected by these planets. The first time during the Federal Chair Reserve speech, Mr. Powell, on inflation and all of those things, the plummet was just so intense, you know. So be careful of slippage. Be careful of slippage. So that main, I've gotten that out of the way, and yes, I was back on to explaining this. So basically, on some other video, I had adjusted this to something like this. So which was a bad move. Just gonna keep it here. The reason I'm keeping it here was just so as I can show you that this touch here, exaggerated point here, was actually valid, you know. So the market pushed further up by a number of pips, then went down aggressively so, right? So what we might be looking at from now on is a possible further continuation to the upside, downside, maybe up to this point here. I don't know. Thing is about such fundamentals, they are creating all of this volatility. Not sure about the direction. You know, things are uh, quite uncertain. You know, at the moment. And the thing is, when you've gotten the hang of it, when you're trading well, when you're flowing, and something like this comes, it's just so discouraging because of all of your accumulating wins, your profits, and everything. They just vanish because of this thing, and they don't vanish because of basically you are careless or something. You are following a trading plan, you are using your stop loss, you are securing profit. But when such happens, you know, so these are things basically that you can't control yourself, you know. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you should just sit, you know. But again, finding a way around such things, it can be tricky, can really be tricky because of now when you are managing accounts and you have something like this anomaly coming through, it's just a disaster. Unless of course it goes your way. You know, perhaps of course you're looking for sales already, then it takes you through, right? But if it goes against you, you're in big trouble, you know, because of stop loss in such cases, in some instances, can protect you, you know. So yeah, we'll definitely find a way around this. We shall make a comeback. This is not a defeat. A number of lessons that I've learned. I do hope that you as well, as you are looking, there are some key takeaways that you took from this. On Let me just go to this is gold. So on gold, I was anticipating that we will have moves to the upside, something like this. Moves to the upside. Right. I think I had my stop loss right around this area. Moves to the upside. It did go up. We're in profit to some some degree, but the market came back down. Right. So essentially what happened was that because of I had already, like I'm saying, I had already predicted that, well, not predicted. I just wanted to be in the safe side. So I locked in what's mine. Right. So I was like, whatever happens to the news, it's none of my business. As long as I secured what's mine, for as long as I'm on the safe side, then I'm good. Then I'm coming back to a huge drawdown, huge, super, super, super huge. At that point, you almost lose yourself because you are like, but I had a stop loss in place. If it can't protect me, then what will? You know. Guess that's just how it is. Super unfair, but can't whine about it. We'll make a comeback and we'll see how we move forward. This was a beautiful trade. It was moving well, going up out of nowhere due to the news, came back rushing down. In bulls and bears, Godspeed.